Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. It is very early here, and there's a reason why. For the first time in 2 years, we are having a international event. We are having a LAN for Rocket League, RLCS in particular. We are getting teams from across the world to compete. And this is a pretty special thing. Not only is it the first time in 2 years, but it's also 7 different regions. It's the first time we've introduced APAC and the MENA region. It's the first for a lot of different things. And it's got me excited. I get to sit back and be a fan of this game. I get to be a fan of international competition and just see who truly is the best in the world at the given moment. And that's really exciting. But what excites me more is the individual matchups, the specific games that we get to see on just the first day. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you my top 3. I'm going to go through all these matches that we're going to see on the first day. And I'm going to tell you the 3 that I'm most excited about, but it's not easy because there's a lot of really good ones in here. So with that said, let's talk about them and tell you why. Before I get into my top 3 most anticipated matches for the first day of the major, first and foremost, thank you guys for all tuning in and watching and all that kind of stuff. Second thing, I got to give some honorable mentions. 3 matches was not enough. That's why I limited myself, but I'm going to cheat the system a little bit with a little asterisk and say 2 that I'm not going to put a ton of time and effort into, but 2 that I'm really interested to see for my own personal reasons. One of them is BDS versus Complexity. Obviously, Complexity tends to be a fan favorite nowadays with their storyline and everything coming through. Hopefully, everybody's spamming Vamos. The other one, BDS, unproven on LAN. A lot of question marks after their kind of results have been. Even though they're top 3 performing well, some communication things going on. Hopefully LAN remedies that. So some question marks around that one. And the other one, Envy versus Ground Zero Gaming. I do not think the general public gives enough credit to Ground Zero and OCE as a whole as a region. Ground Zero is a really good team and can surprise, but I do have some concerns about internal workings of that team when the going gets tough. They are going up against one of my favorite teams at LAN, which is going to be Envy. The thing I've been praising a lot about Envy. I'm curious to see if that comes to fruition and they live up to the hype that I've been putting behind them based upon what I think their team will do in a live environment. So those are 2 honorable mentions. I'm looking forward to those matches, but let's get into my top 3, the matches that I really want to see. At number 3 is going to be FaZe Clan versus Team Vitality. Going to start with Team Vitality because it's the easy one. This is a team with world champions and one of the GOATs in KDOP who's been to every single grand final since season 3 and has been to every LAN since season 2. This is a team that a lot of us were excited where you took a team that won a world championship, went 2nd place at the next one, and then removed Scrubkilla so you could speak French. And you brought in Alpha. Alpha, although has played on LAN with Barcelona back in the day, or was it PSG? I think it was PSG when they came in. So he played with PSG at the LAN back in the day, but we have yet to see Alpha play with this team on LAN. So there's a lot of excitement for me there. Seeing how Vitality does. They've been up and down and barely qualified for this event, but on LAN, I think they can live up to the hype. I'm excited to see what that is. And on the other side of that is their first opponent, which the only person with experience is AJ. First Killer's new to this, and Illusion, who, although has been in the scene for a very long time, was on that Ghost roster that failed to make the LAN way too many times by taking 5-6 when they got to Page playoffs. So FaZe Clan is a unique circumstance. The last time we saw them in an event like this kind of was the We Play Esports Invitational, which was a long time ago, and they played with Dapper. Even still, they looked incredible. So are you telling me with their full roster, they can potentially look better? To me, this is 2 teams that have both been very, very hot and very cold, and they're going to come together for one beautiful match. I'm really looking forward to this FaZe versus Vitality match. That is number 3 on my list. Number 2 goes to Semper and Furia. Furia, if you guys do not know, has been absolutely dominating people in scrims. They have been turning heads, and I've got some concerns about that. You guys don't know Furia, they're the number 1 seed coming from South America, a team that is plenty of mechanics. They took a mechanical team and brought in Jan and made it better. And the team looks insane. They look so good, but we've seen this before out of South America. In scrims, in practices, and stuff like that, you get quotes from some of the players in scrims that are like, if this team plays like this during matches, we're all screwed. There's nothing we can do. If this team plays like this on stage, we lose. They will win the world championship. And we saw this with Low Key back in season 8. and then they went to stage, and then they weren't able to recreate the same level of mechanic and pressure under pressure itself of stage and world championships, and they went 0-2 and they got knocked out. I hope that's not the case for Furia. I really want them to have these circumstances of, look at what we can do mechanically. We look comfortable. We move the field well. Positioning wise, we're great. But they're going against a very stubborn team in Semper, which again, for me, is really exciting because not only are you seeing some first-time appearances in their roster, Archie, with everybody's expectations to absolutely play it out of his mind, but for me, I'm going to be focusing more so on Shazet. Shazet, obviously a veteran. He's been here before, but he hasn't really had the level of respect in his career because of the results through Oxygen and Reciprocity and everything else that he's gone through. So is this going to be the resurgence of Shazet, one of the players who's known to be one of the best position players on LAN, at least in my position? He's a person that usually is in the right spot at the right time. And in a situation like LAN, where normally, and again, there's a bunch of unknown factors, I do think that this could be an opportunity. I think Cassio's super underrated. Archie, very, very talented. And Shazet is kind of the X factor for me. If Shazet steps up, there's no reason why I don't think Semper can compete. So I think this is a really good match. It's also the last one of the day, and I think a banger to end with. But this match in particular answers a lot of questions for me for the rest of the event. So I'm really pumped about this one in particular, just because I think they're two pretty evenly matched teams as long as they both bring their A game. It's just a matter of how is the coin going to land when they actually play the series. Last and certainly not least, in my most anticipated matches for the Fall Split Major in the starting rounds is got to be G2 Esports versus Sandrock Gaming. And I know a lot of people have seen my predictions about how I think things are going to go, but the reason why this one is so important to me is for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it is the first time that we get to see Mina in 5 years play international competition, no ping. Mechanics are good. We know they're talented. There's been a lot of really interesting takes on the subreddit and publicly and by certain people about mechanics, this and that. And I'm excited to, with no excuses, finally put some of those things to rest. Can this team live up to the hype? Bootcamped in KSA, had the ability to come over, shouldn't be as jet lagged, should be good to go. And can they take the experiences that they're getting from scrims and apply them immediately and compete? You're going up against one of the Titans in North America. You're going up against G2. This is a team that arguably in Season 9 most likely would have found themselves in a grand final. This G2 squad looked absolutely dominant when that happened, but now Rizzo's no longer there. They are bringing in the rookie that is Dries, who has also lived up to the hype. I think with a second place performance in Regional 2, a first place performance in Regional 3, and based upon how scrims and stuff are looking, they haven't really skipped a beat. G2 looks like they're prepping really hard. They're scrimming a lot. They are putting themselves in a position to be successful. And if Sandrock can still come in and upset that, because I do think it would be a massive upset, I think this series could be one of the best on the day. This potentially has the makings of like a historical moment where we look back at the end of the event and say, if this match went differently, everything would be changed. If this outcome of this series was the one that possibly went the other way, then this series wouldn't have happened, and it leads to this domino effect. I think G2's got a lot of questions to answer. There's been a lot of people critiquing them for doing certain things, and there's always been the concern for me is when their offense is on, when things are going well for G2, they look world-class. They look like they can beat literally anybody in the world, no questions asked. But then there's other times where consistency tends to come into play. Accuracy's not always there. Defense seems to be a little bit lackluster. And I haven't seen that side of G2 in a couple months. It's actually been a bit since I've seen G2 look like that. Oh, they're not in it. You know, they're just kind of giving up some free stuff. So for everybody else, I'm a little bit worried. But this match, I think, sets a precedent and gives us, again, those questions that I want answered about what are they going to bring to the table, both for Sandrock and for G2. Is Mina, who's been waiting 5 years for this moment, with a sub, even though it's Senzo, still going to be able to come and perform to the level that we hope they do? This match in particular is my favorite for the first rounds of the RLCS Fall Split Major, but I'm curious to hear what your guys' are. Let me know in the comments down below. Out of all the matches that should be displayed on your screen during all of this, Energy Era, Endpoint Renegades, Dignitas Tokyo Verde, G2 Sandrock, FaZe Vitality, BDS Complexity, Ground Zero Envy, and Semper Furia. Out of those matches, what is your favorite for the first round? I'm curious on what you guys have to say. let me know in the comments below when you guys are down there. If you guys do have any additional questions about the major that's going on today, in the description, I will have linked information on the schedule and the format, where to watch, as well as all the seating and why it is done the way it is. So if you guys do have additional questions, go check out those videos. Also, as a last minute reminder, if you guys made it this far, greatly appreciate it. But keep in mind, the rest of this week is going to be recaps. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is going to be a recap of every single day for the major. So if you guys aren't able to make the matches, just know here they will be covered and giving you guys insight on what the heck went down, because there's going to be a lot. There's 42 potential series going on this week. I'll do my best to stay up to date for you. Peace.